If she goes cold suddenly, don't panic or chase. Her distance speaks more than words. It's emotion, fear, or testing. Give space, stay calm, and reflect on yourself. Consistency and silent confidence draw her back. Remember, chasing pushes away. Your calm, magnetic presence pulls her closer naturally. Sudden coldness is rarely random. When a woman goes quiet, when her warmth fades, it's never without reason. Many men panic, assuming the worst, imagining rejection, or feeling that they have lost her interest entirely. But the truth is deeper than what meets the eye. Her coldness is communication. It's a message, an emotion, a signal that something inside her mind or heart has shifted. Understanding this is the key to not losing her and to responding in a way that strengthens the connection instead of breaking it. Emotional withdrawal is rarely about you personally. Often it's about what she's experiencing internally. She may feel uncertain, hurt, or overwhelmed. Sometimes she's confused about her feelings, or she's processing an emotional trigger you didn't even notice. When she goes cold, she's speaking through her silence, sending you a message that words cannot fully capture. It's an invitation to observe, to pause, and to respond with understanding rather than panic. Men often mistake distance for disinterest, but that is rarely the case. The coldness is a mirror reflecting her current emotional state. The first thing to understand is that coldness demands awareness. It's a test of your presence, your confidence, and your patience. How you react in these moments shapes the outcome far more than what she did to withdraw. Chasing, over-texting, or pleading only amplifies the distance because it communicates desperation and insecurity. Instead, recognizing her coldness as communication allows you to step back and create space for her feelings. This space is not abandonment. It's a signal that you respect her emotions and are strong enough to remain composed without controlling her. When she pulls away, it's also an opportunity to reflect on your own actions. Sometimes your energy, your words, or even subtle behaviors may have triggered her withdrawal. This doesn't mean blame, it means awareness. Paying attention to the signals she's sending allows you to adjust your approach, not to change who you are, but to create harmony and emotional safety. Communication is not just about words. It's about energy, presence, and alignment. Your calmness, patience, and ability to hold your ground speak louder than texts, calls, or explanations. Her silence is layered with meaning. It may carry fear, hesitation, or a need for reassurance without words. It may also be a reflection of her own internal struggles that have nothing to do with you. By seeing coldness as a language, you stop reacting emotionally and start interpreting wisely. You learn to read the cues, notice patterns, and respond in a way that fosters trust rather than panic. This is where emotional intelligence in relationships becomes a game changer. Recognizing that coldness is a message, not a punishment, transforms the dynamic entirely. When you see sudden coldness as communication, you stop chasing illusions and start understanding reality. You respond with presence, not panic, with patience, not pressure. You allow her emotions to breathe while maintaining your own stability. And in doing so, you create the conditions for reconnection, trust, and deeper emotional intimacy that words alone can never achieve. When a woman pulls back emotionally, many men immediately assume the worst. They think her silence or distance is a sign that she has lost interest, that the connection is fading, or that they have done something wrong. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in relationships. Emotional withdrawal does not equal disinterest. Her need to retreat is rarely a reflection of her feelings for you. More often, it is about her own internal processing, fears, or emotional rhythm. Understanding this distinction is crucial if you want to maintain attraction and create lasting emotional connection. Emotional withdrawal is her way of managing overwhelm, uncertainty, or confusion. Women are deeply emotional beings, and their emotions can be complex, fluctuating, and layered. Sometimes she pulls away, not because she wants to leave, but because she needs space to process her thoughts, feelings, and even the intensity of attraction she feels for you. She may feel unsure about how to express herself, how to communicate vulnerability, or how to navigate her own fears of rejection. In these moments, her coldness is not a sign of fading love or interest. It is a protective mechanism, a way to create internal clarity. Men often misinterpret her withdrawal because they approach relationships from a mindset of immediate validation. If she stops texting as often, replies become shorter, or her energy seems distant, men panic. They begin to chase, overanalyze, and demand reassurance. This reaction, however, is counterproductive. It's critical to recognize that her emotional distance is not a verdict on you or the relationship. It's a signal about her own inner world. The more you can separate her behavior from your assumptions about disinterest, the more you can respond with calm, confidence, and patience. Emotional withdrawal can also be a sign of testing. Women want to see stability, emotional intelligence, and consistency in their partners. How you respond to her distance determines whether you become a source of reassurance or a source of anxiety. When you remain composed, avoid overreacting, and show that your presence does not depend on her immediate approval or attention, you create a safe space for her to reconnect. Emotional withdrawal is, in this sense, an opportunity to demonstrate strength, patience, and understanding, qualities that build deep attraction over time. It's important to remember that emotional withdrawal is often temporary. It is not a permanent rejection. By recognizing her need for space, staying consistent in your energy, and focusing on your own growth and presence, you allow her to process her emotions without pressure. This is where trust, attraction, and intimacy deepen. You are not chasing her attention. You are honoring her emotional process while remaining grounded and confident. The key is perspective. Emotional withdrawal is a form of communication, not a declaration of disinterest. When you interpret it this way, you stop reacting out of fear and start responding with awareness. You respect her feelings while maintaining your own emotional stability, and in doing so, you allow the relationship to move forward naturally. Understanding that withdrawal is not rejection transforms your approach, making you magnetic, patient, and irresistibly reassuring without saying a single word. Space in a relationship is not distance. It is not detachment. It is not a withdrawal of love or care. Space is the quiet, powerful force that allows emotions to settle, clarity to emerge, and connection to deepen. When a woman goes cold or pulls away, the instinct of many men is to close the gap immediately, to call, text, or chase, hoping to fill the silence with reassurance. But in reality, space is not emptiness. It is opportunity. It is a chance for both of you to breathe, to reflect, and to understand the value of each other without forcing the bond to prove itself in every moment. Giving her space is not passive. It is an active display of confidence, respect, and emotional intelligence. When you honor her need for space, you show that you are not desperate for validation. You demonstrate that your presence is steady, unshaken by temporary distance. Women are naturally drawn to men who can hold their own energy, men who are emotionally independent, and men who do not need constant approval to feel secure. Space allows her to see you as a constant, stable presence, someone whose value is not determined by her immediate attention, but by the strength of your character. Space also creates perspective. When a woman steps back, she is given room to process her feelings, desires, and doubts without external pressure. Often, distance reveals what words cannot convey. She may realize how much she values your presence, how much she misses your energy, or how deeply she is drawn to your confidence. Space gives her the mental and emotional clarity that chasing or constant communication cannot. It turns her coldness into reflection, her withdrawal into an invitation to reconnect on a deeper level. For men, space is equally important. It allows you to reflect on your actions, your energy, and your presence in the relationship. Instead of reacting emotionally to her distance, you have the opportunity to cultivate patience, self-awareness, and calmness. Space gives you the power to act, not out of fear or neediness, but out of understanding and strategy. By focusing on your own growth, your own routines, and your own purpose, you become more magnetic. Your absence is not a punishment. It is an expression of self-respect and inner strength. Understanding the importance of space means understanding that relationships are not a game of constant proximity or immediate gratification. True emotional connection thrives when both people have room to breathe. It is in this breathing room that longing is created, appreciation grows, and attraction is maintained. By stepping back, you allow the natural pull between you to work, rather than forcing connection through anxiety or need. Space is not rejection. It is a tool. It is a way to turn coldness into curiosity, distance into desire, and withdrawal into renewed emotional intimacy. When you embrace space, you stop chasing, stop overthinking, and stop trying to control outcomes. Instead, you allow the relationship to unfold organically, with respect for her emotional process and confidence in your own. In doing so, you transform the dynamic entirely. You become the calm in her storm, the steady presence she cannot ignore, and the man whose patience, strength, and understanding make her naturally want to return, reconnect, and invest in the bond without needing to be pushed or persuaded. When she goes cold, the first instinct for many men is to overthink. Every text unanswered, every message read without reply, every change in tone becomes a cause for panic. Thoughts spiral. Did I say something wrong? Did I push too hard? Did she lose interest? Overthinking is a trap. It clouds your judgment, fuels insecurity, and often leads to reactions that push her further away. The truth is that self-reflection, not overthinking, is what transforms these moments from fear into understanding and confusion into clarity. Self-reflection is about observation, not obsession. It's about asking, how am I showing up in this relationship, rather than, what is she thinking about me? Overthinking focuses on external variables and imagined outcomes. Self-reflection turns the lens inward. It allows you to assess your energy, your behavior, and your intentions. Did you come across as confident and secure, or needy and reactive? Did your words align with your presence, or did your actions create anxiety? These questions are not for self-blame. They are for awareness and growth. When you reflect instead of overthink, you reclaim control over your energy and stop giving it away to fear. Overthinking also ignores patterns and context. When a woman goes cold, it is often part of a rhythm or cycle, not a sudden verdict. By overanalyzing, men lose sight of these patterns and make impulsive decisions, chasing, apologizing excessively, or sending messages that communicate desperation. Self-reflection, on the other hand, allows you to see her actions in perspective. It gives you the ability to interpret her distance as a message rather than a judgment. You start to understand that her coldness may have more to do with her emotional state than your worth or effort. Reflection encourages emotional intelligence. It gives you the space to notice triggers, both hers and yours, and to respond in a way that maintains your dignity and presence. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can choose patience. Instead of chasing, you can create calm and consistency. Self-reflection teaches you that your value is not determined by her attention, but by your own stability and alignment. It is the practice of turning moments of uncertainty into opportunities for personal growth. The power of self-reflection over overthinking is that it transforms fear into magnetism. When you stop obsessing over her coldness, you stop transmitting anxiety. Your calm energy becomes magnetic. Your confidence becomes undeniable. Women are drawn to men who are steady in the face of distance, who understand themselves, and who do not require constant validation. By reflecting instead of overthinking, you become that man, the one who can handle emotional withdrawal with patience, presence, and quiet strength. Self-reflection is a practice of awareness, patience, and self-mastery. It allows you to navigate coldness with clarity, respond with intelligence, and maintain attraction naturally. Overthinking creates chaos and insecurity. Self-reflection creates stability and respect. When you master this distinction, you stop reacting to fear and start acting from power. You learn to see her coldness not as rejection, but as an opportunity to understand, grow, and show the value of your presence without saying a word. Attraction is not just about looks or charm. It is a dynamic, living energy that flows between two people. When a woman goes cold, it is often not a reflection of disinterest, but a shift in the attraction dynamics. Understanding this is critical because it allows you to respond in a way that maintains her interest, strengthens emotional connection, and ultimately deepens desire. Attraction is built on tension, balance, and emotional interplay. It is not constant. It rises and falls naturally, and a sudden coldness is often a sign that the balance has shifted temporarily. Every interaction carries an emotional signal. When you are overly available, overly eager, or too predictable, the energy of attraction can wane. Women are drawn to men who are confident, composed, and self-assured. When she goes cold, it may be a reflection of the current state of the dynamic. Perhaps the energy between you has become too comfortable, too certain, or lacking in subtle tension. This does not mean she is losing interest. It means the magnetism needs recalibration. Understanding the nuances of attraction dynamics allows you to respond intelligently without panic and maintain your magnetic presence. One of the most important aspects of attraction dynamics is emotional contrast. Women are drawn to men who evoke feelings, security paired with challenge, calmness paired with intrigue. When she withdraws, it is often because she senses a lack of contrast in the dynamic or because she is seeking to measure your emotional consistency. The way you respond to her coldness communicates volumes. Do you panic, chase, and overcompensate? Or do you remain composed, confident, and emotionally steady? Your reaction can either dissipate the attraction further or reignite the pull she feels toward you. Timing and pacing are also critical components. Attraction is maintained through rhythm, not constant presence. Emotional withdrawal often highlights the need for pacing in the relationship. If you have been moving too quickly or too intensely, her coldness may be a natural pause, allowing both of you to reset. The key is to respect the rhythm without attempting to force closeness or validation. Your calm, steady energy during this pause is far more powerful than any message or gesture trying to break through her distance. Attraction dynamics are deeply psychological. Women are wired to respond to men who embody confidence, independence, and emotional strength. A sudden coldness is not a failure, it is a test. It measures your ability to remain grounded and magnetic even when attention is withdrawn. How you handle this moment often determines whether the attraction deepens or diminishes. By understanding the unseen forces at play, you gain the ability to navigate distance with strategy and grace. The role of attraction dynamics teaches that coldness is part of the flow, not a threat. It is a natural fluctuation that reflects emotional, psychological, and energetic interplay. When you respond with calm, self-assured energy, you maintain the pull that keeps her emotionally invested. Attraction thrives on balance, emotional intelligence, and the ability to hold your own presence regardless of her distance. Mastering this dynamic transforms moments of withdrawal into opportunities to deepen desire, strengthen connection, and maintain your magnetic influence without needing to chase or plead. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in attraction, yet it is often overlooked. When a woman goes cold suddenly, many men overreact. They chase, plead, or try to force a response. These actions, though well-intentioned, break trust and push her further away. True emotional trust is built slowly, quietly, and powerfully through consistent behavior. It is not in grand gestures or dramatic displays. It is in the calm, steady presence you maintain, regardless of her mood, her distance, or her withdrawal. Consistency communicates stability. When she pulls back, her mind tests the reliability of your presence. Will you panic and chase, or will you remain composed? Will your value fluctuate based on her attention, or will it remain constant? Emotional trust is forged when she experiences that your energy does not depend on her validation. When you respond with steady calm rather than emotional volatility, she feels safe, even in moments of coldness. This safety is magnetic. It draws her back because women are instinctively drawn to men who are secure and unwavering. Consistency is not just about behavior, it is about emotional energy. A man who is consistent does not react impulsively to her distance. He does not flood her with messages or seek reassurance. He remains grounded, showing that his emotions are not dictated by her actions, but by his understanding of his own value. This emotional consistency is often more attractive than any words or gifts because it signals maturity, reliability, and strength, qualities that women subconsciously seek in a partner. Building emotional trust also means being predictable in your stability while unpredictable in your intrigue. She should know that you will show up as your best self, no matter the circumstances, yet remain a man of mystery, depth, and interest. When she sees that your energy and attention are not conditional, she can relax, open up, and reconnect emotionally. Consistency reduces anxiety in her mind. It tells her that she does not need to test you with withdrawal or coldness to understand your intentions. Consistency also requires patience. Emotional trust cannot be rushed or demanded. It must be earned over time. If she is cold, it is tempting to try to accelerate the process, to demand closeness, or to prove your worth. But true trust is cultivated through repeated actions that show reliability and steadiness. Your presence, your calm energy, and your refusal to be swayed by her coldness all communicate that you are a man who can be counted on, not a man who is controlled by momentary emotions. In relationships, consistency transforms uncertainty into security. When she goes cold, it is a test of your ability to maintain that consistency. By showing patience, emotional steadiness, and reliability, you create an environment where attraction flourishes naturally. She begins to see that your value is unwavering, your presence is dependable, and your energy is something she can trust. Over time, this builds a deep emotional bond, turning moments of withdrawal into opportunities for closeness and connection rather than fear or anxiety. Consistency is not passive. It is the silent, powerful foundation upon which trust, attraction, and lasting intimacy are built. Every woman has emotional triggers, moments that provoke feelings of withdrawal, doubt, or vulnerability. When she goes cold suddenly, it's often not random. It is a reaction to something beneath the surface, something unseen, unspoken, or unresolved. Understanding emotional triggers is not about blaming her or overanalyzing every word. It is about developing awareness and insight into the patterns that influence her behavior. When you can identify and navigate these triggers, you gain the ability to maintain connection, create attraction, and respond in ways that deepen emotional intimacy instead of unintentionally pushing her away. Triggers are usually tied to past experiences, insecurities, or unmet needs. A woman may pull back because she feels unappreciated, unheard, or uncertain about the stability of the connection. Sometimes her coldness is activated by a subtle word, tone, or action that communicates insecurity, control, or neediness. Recognizing that her withdrawal is often a reaction to something internal, not a reflection of your value, is essential. It allows you to approach her distance with empathy and understanding rather than frustration or panic. Emotional triggers also reveal the deeper dynamics of attraction. When she withdraws, it is often a test of your emotional intelligence and presence. How you respond determines whether her pull toward you grows stronger or weaker. Overreacting, chasing, or becoming defensive amplifies the trigger and deepens her coldness. Responding with calmness, awareness, and subtle reassurance diffuses tension and creates space for her to feel safe and drawn back to you. Awareness of triggers is not manipulation. It is conscious emotional navigation, a way to maintain the balance of attraction while honoring her feelings. Understanding triggers requires observation and reflection. Notice patterns in her behavior. When she becomes distant, what preceded it? What were the words, actions, or situations that seemed to spark her withdrawal? Patterns emerge over time, and once you recognize them, you can adjust your energy and approach. This is not about controlling her emotions. It is about creating a dynamic where she feels secure, understood, and appreciated, which naturally increases her desire to reconnect. Triggers are also an opportunity for growth. When you see her coldness as a reflection of a trigger rather than rejection, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. You learn patience, empathy, and self-control. You become a man who can navigate emotional complexity with grace. Women are instinctively attracted to men who can handle their depth without fear or judgment, who can remain steady while she processes her feelings. Understanding emotional triggers transforms moments of coldness into opportunities for connection. It shifts your perspective from fear and insecurity to awareness and control. You no longer see her withdrawal as a threat, but as a message, a subtle communication that invites observation, patience, and emotional intelligence. By recognizing and respecting her triggers, you create an environment where emotional intimacy, trust, and attraction flourish naturally. This is the power of awareness, the ability to respond thoughtfully, maintain your presence, and navigate the complexities of human emotion with confidence and magnetism. Silent power is the art of influence without words, the ability to command presence through calm confidence rather than noise or force. When a woman goes cold suddenly, many men rush to fill the silence with messages, explanations, or gestures meant to regain her attention. This reaction often backfires, intensifying her distance. True magnetic presence is cultivated through restraint, composure, and self-assured energy. It is the quiet confidence that communicates, without speaking, that you are steady, valuable, and unshaken by temporary withdrawal. Magnetism is not about being loud, dominant, or overly expressive. It is about being emotionally grounded. A man with silent power does not need constant validation to feel worthy. His energy is steady regardless of her behavior. Women are deeply attracted to this type of stability because it signals security, reliability, and emotional strength, the very qualities that make a man feel irreplaceable. When she senses that her coldness does not control your emotions, her curiosity and desire naturally intensify. She begins to feel the pull of your calm, confident energy, which is far more compelling than any chase or explanation. Silent power also communicates boundaries. It shows that you respect yourself, your emotions, and your time. By not overreacting to her withdrawal, you demonstrate that your life, your energy, and your presence are not dictated by her attention. This is incredibly magnetic because it positions you as a man who is in control of his own world, someone whose stability is independent of external validation. Women instinctively gravitate toward men who are whole, self-reliant, and composed, especially when emotional tension arises. Magnetic presence is strengthened by self-awareness and focus. A man who invests in his own growth, purpose, and interests radiates energy that is naturally compelling. When she goes cold, she notices this energy even more. Her withdrawal acts as a spotlight on the qualities she values but cannot fully articulate. By remaining fully engaged in your own life while maintaining calm attention toward her, you create the perfect balance of emotional availability and intrigue. This balance draws her back because it allows her to feel both the pull of your presence and the space to miss it. Another aspect of silent power is patience. You do not need to rush or force connection. Your steady energy communicates trust, strength, and self-mastery. She senses that you are a man of integrity and control, someone whose value cannot be diminished by temporary coldness. This patience is magnetic because it creates psychological safety. She knows she can return to you without fear of judgment or emotional volatility, which fosters deeper emotional connection over time. Silent power and magnetic presence transform coldness into opportunity. They allow you to remain in control, maintain your value, and create irresistible attraction without chasing, pleading, or overanalyzing. Your calm, steady energy becomes the anchor she cannot resist. It communicates more than words ever could, sending the unspoken message that you are confident, composed, and worthy of her attention. By mastering this, you turn moments of withdrawal into moments of magnetic pull, establishing a connection that is both deeply emotional and irresistibly compelling. In the end, her sudden coldness is never random, and it is never a measure of your worth. Every withdrawal, every moment of distance is a message, a reflection of emotions, patterns, and unspoken needs. Understanding this allows you to respond with calm, confidence, and clarity rather than fear or panic. By embracing space, reflecting on yourself, staying consistent, and maintaining your magnetic presence, you create an environment where trust deepens, attraction grows, and emotional connection strengthens. Remember, chasing pushes away, but steady, silent power draws her naturally. The way you show up during her cold moments defines not only the relationship, but the level of respect, desire, and intimacy she feels for you. Master these principles, and what once felt like distance becomes the doorway to a deeper, more meaningful connection.